Tell children it's Baconsale. I ran out of bread.
That was beautiful.
Why, thank you.
That was creepy and beautiful.
And maybe one of the best intros ever.
Aw, that's
I
cute.
accept the bar, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Who are you?
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Joel.
I'm Kent.
And I'm Dan.
Wait a minute.
What's going on?
What happened to Jacob?
I don't know.
Something actually did happen to Jake, and it's kind of a longer story that we may get to, but basically he's sick.
I don't want to blame it on the Halloween Whopper, but it may be because of the Halloween Whopper.
Yeah, it may be. Or the fact that he starved himself for a week and started using diuretics to win a weight loss challenge.
Well, no, I thought it was because he wanted to be,
pretty.
Microphone ready for Baconsale.
Yeah, that's it. And so literally like an hour ago, he backed out and said, well, who can take my place? And so, well,
The first one we said was, Dan?
I found out only about 20 minutes ago, so you guys have had like at least an additional 40 minutes of just planning and
There was a lot of
things.
hemming and hawing. It was kind of a, well, do we really want Dan? And
I can just get up and leave
no.
now.
and we did
We can
post
turn this car around, Joel.
we did post a video of you on our on Jake's YouTube.
Yes.
And it is on our Twitter, and it's you talking for about 5 minutes about parsecs.
That's true.
That's because everyone who believes that...
No, we don't need to get into that right now, Dan. That's a different show.
Okay, I'm just going to sit over here in my corner then.
But Dan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little intro to kind of, let people know who you are.
Where you're from, all that.
Alrighty. So, howdy, everybody. My name is Dan Tennant, kind of like David Tennant, but not. I'm cooler, in my opinion.
Is he your uncle?
You know what?
That'd be
we
great.
haven't fully decided.
I'll check your family tree.
Thank you kindly. I appreciate
Genealogy.
I'm doing
You
it.
guys do that a lot here in Utah. I am
Yeah, we
not
do.
from Utah. I actually grew up in Hong Kong and then lived in Massachusetts for quite some time and only came out here about 2 years ago.
Dan, if you have, I know you have several like geek passions, but what would you say are your things?
So I probably spend more off time playing Dungeons and Dragons than doing really anything else.
By the way, Dan is an attractive man who.
Hey.
No, it's true. I mean, people hear that and they go,
He lives in an
Shut
above-ground
him.
apartment.
yes.
I literally lived with my parents until 2 years ago.
Don't say that. No.
There was good reason for it.
Sell yourself.
Okay. I
Ladies.
have a beard, guys. I have a beard.
Oh, I don't have any
No, that's
facial
not a
hair
good
now, do
thing. Not a neck beard. No, so I play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm a big gamer, build my own computers. I'm very much a nerd's nerd. I have a fascination for Hocus Pocus, which is really...
The movie?
Yes, the movie. Well, not. I'm not one of those people, Joel. Or maybe I am.
I thought it was like, I don't know. It just seemed weird that you have a fascination with Hocus Pocus of all movies out there.
Yeah.
Well, Hocus Pocus and Saw, but one of those movies is appropriate, and the other movies really kind of aren't.
Yeah, one has Sarah Jessica Parker, and it's not Sarah Jessica. Yeah, it's not appropriate.
Precisely.
Exactly.
But
No,
it was hot. Sarah. It was the one movie where she was attractive. Come on now.
No, we totally agree. We agree
We've talked
wholeheartedly.
about this. Yes.
Dan, next time let me introduce you. I think you're going to come off better. Dan, we're also probably going to have you on the show when we do an actual Dungeons and Dragons game because you're quite the dungeon master.
Even though we've gotten complaints from people that they don't want to Dungeons
I don't
and
freaking
Dragons
care.
show. I know you don't. Because hashtag Kent doesn't care.
I care.
No, that's never going to catch
And
on.
I want people to care as well.
Dungeons and Dragons is a fantastic game so long as you are kind of okay with generally quasi-racist accents. Are you okay with generally quasi-racist accents?
Is that the tagline on the box?
You are speaking to my heart right now.
Anyway, so we're not here to talk about streets. We're not here to talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, first, I think we should talk about our little adventure last night with the Halloween Whopper.
Well, we can go into brief detail about that.
Really, really brief. Briefs? Yeah, I mean, is that
Yes,
where we're going to go?
no.
Basically, Joel and I went to a movie, and it
Went and
was
saw Goosebumps.
Yeah, pretty far away.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Worth the drive.
Yeah, you'll like it. Joel has this idea that he wants to get the Halloween Whopper, and I'm thinking, no, we shouldn't. And so
Ken was opposed to it.
we try to find a couple actual Burger Kings still in existence. We find one, and they're out. The woman at the counter says there were some issues with it, so they discontinued the burger.
Yeah.
It was just out. Like the signs are still up on all the Burger
But what
Kings
were
that
the
I passed
issues?
by.
As you well know.
We don't talk about the issues that happened, but
I think we do. It turns your poo green.
Moving on.
Dan, you knew this, right?
Because there's lots of dye in the bun.
And so Joel was very curious, and honestly, throughout the course of finding a Burger King and not finding the black Halloween Whopper, I became curious and actually driven.
As soon as it became a limited commodity, you could see the switch flip in Kent's brain. He's like, I must have this.
So Joel is calling numerous Burger Kings. I didn't even think Burger Kings have phones.
Like 2 or 3.
And
they were probably surprised to hear the phone ring.
Yeah. He finally got a hold of one, and she was like, yeah, everyone is out of the Halloween Whopper, except I heard this one store in Layton, which is like, 50 miles from where we were.
No, not that far, but
and they're like,
far enough.
I think there's one store.
So you went on a mystical scavenger hunt.
We did.
For a Halloween Whopper that's black that turns your poo green inexplicably.
This is essentially a Dungeons and Dragons game.
I am putting together the enemies right now in my head. The NPCs who answer the phone in cruel, drawn voices.
we tried to convince Jacob to come.
Yeah.
And Kent called him on the phone and said, this is a Baconsale outing. You got to come. You got to come. And Jacob was like, look, I just ate a ton. I'm not hungry. I'm not coming. We gave up, went by ourselves. And we're sitting there in our corner booth, 2 grown men in Burger King crowns, eating
a black hamburger.
Eating a black hamburger.
Wait, did you share the black hamburger?
No, we each got our own.
That would have been cute.
That's better.
And then I look out the window, and what did I see?
Popcorn popping?
No.
Okay.
Jacob's smiling face walking by the window. He had come all the way from his house to Layton to meet us there to get the Halloween.
And even though he's not here right now, I will never doubt the loyalty that this man has to
I'd
his
like
friends.
to just point out that Jacob is sick right now, and yet he still came and ate that Halloween Whopper. So my real question is, how come the 2 of you aren't sick?
Because it wasn't the burger. It was what he did to his body.
Well, and I'll tell you what, both Joel and I have already experienced the issues.
We're not talking.
And Jake himself, his body is not yet released.
Stop.
Any sort of thing. And guess what? The rumors are true.
Good heavens.
They're straight up true. Like...
Family friendly.
Egg true.
You realize we're talking about candy today, right? We don't need to talk about other things to make people's tastes go away.
But are they green candies
No.
that are kind of lumpy? And
Well, there's also
No,
food
no.
dye in that as well, which can mess your stomach up.
Family friendly.
I love how you're going to have such a problem with this.
Everybody poops, Joel. I saw a book about it.
How many minutes are we into the podcast already?
Yeah. All right. So our show today,
Almost
actually,
10 minutes. We have not gotten to the subject.
our show is about Halloween candy. And I am so excited because
Since we wanted to do a Halloween themed, this seemed to be a perfect fit.
I have a list, ladies and gentlemen. It's a fancy list.
So what we're going to do is we're going to follow what we've done on a few past shows, specifically the fast food show, where we give a tier 1, a tier 2, and a tier 3. What would you consider a tier 1? Like, would it be like you as a kid walking up to a door with your pillowcase?
Yes, because you use a pillowcase.
Not a bucket?
Pillowcase. You people are pillowcase people.
If you're going to get a lot of candy, you need a pillowcase.
I'm so proud of you, pillowcase people.
Because a pillowcase is not going to rip.
Well, what else are you going to use? A square pumpkin? Come on.
And like a bag's going to rip, a bucket's going to hurt your hand. It's all about the pillowcase, even though there are no handles.
And then after every house, you spin it around,
Yeah.
twist it up, and throw it over your shoulder and walk on to the next one.
Pillowcases are the most hopeful of Halloween bags.
Yes, it is.
You take them out at the beginning of the night and you think to yourself, I'm going to fill this baby up. And at the end of the night, you have like maybe 3 fistfuls of candy. And you think to yourself, well, it started out well. It started out well.
Yeah.
But even then, that's a ton of candy.
No, that moment when you get home and you turn the pillowcase upside down and dump it all over your floor and then just take your hands and swing it all around inside that candy and swim in it, that's awesome.
Although
That's an awesome
apparently you
moment.
guys had some sort of like trading regimen going on post
Wait, you
Halloween
didn't?
outing.
Do you,
I grew up in I trick or treated in Hong Kong. They don't really understand trick or treating.
Oh, that's true. It is a very American thing.
It is.
Yeah. No, I had siblings and we would sit there and discuss, okay, I'll give you 2 of these for 2 of that. And no, that's not a good deal. I'll take 1 of these. And
Yeah, for example, if I had like a tier 2 candy, I would be very willing to trade it for a similar tier 2 candy. Or if I could get a tier 1, that would be fantastic.
well, and I have a brother who hates coconut.
Yeah.
And I don't like pineapple. And so we would try to, trade that way and things like that. And it worked out. It was mutually beneficial.
Fair enough.
And now as a parent, I just steal my kids' candy.
The dad tax.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, tier 1 is like you walk up to a door and you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And, there are full-size candy bars, and those are great. I think we're going to stay on fun-size candy bars for
Yes.
this one.
Oh, it's not, the size does matter of when it comes to Halloween candy, because you get a full fun size Snickers, it's like, cool, Snickers.
Yeah.
You get a full size Snickers, you're like, best house ever. Well, growing up, There was a guy that lived down the road who worked at Kellogg's, the Kellogg's factory around here. And it wasn't his name, but the nickname was Mr. Kellogg. And the deal was he always gave out those small sizes of cereal boxes.
Oh, okay.
Like the one bowl size. But if he knew who you were, like if you said, hey, I'm in your neighborhood, I'm so-and-so's son, or, I'm in the ward or whatever, he would then give you a full-size box of cereal, like Frosted Flakes or something like that. It was awesome.
That's a little weird.
That's the thing, is if he knew you...
This is in my cupboard, kid.
No, he had like stacks and stacks of boxes and stuff like that of the cereal because he worked for Kellogg. We also had Mr. Wrigley's who gave you full boxes, not just a pack of gum, like a box of packs of gum. It was
How
awesome.
is cereal an acceptable dessert food?
I'm telling you, if it's Frosted Flakes, it was all the sugary cereals. It wasn't. He wasn't giving out like bran flakes.
I always got Malto Mill when I would go out.
Well,
your
I
neighborhood.
prefer the houses that give away kashi go lean myself. Lots of protein.
Oh, yes. A kid's
Stop
gonna be
it.
excited when
I'm
he
so
gets
mad
a
right now.
lean in his bag.
Yeah. And so basically, you have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Would you consider this like, I hate you? Or is it just like, oh man, this sucks? I want to egg your house? Or what does that mean to you?
Tier 1 is, I'm excited. This is my candy. I will eat it. Tier 2 is, I could eat it. Maybe I'll trade it for something better. And then tier 3 is, I'm not eating this. I need to get rid of it one way or another.
Yeah.
So, for instance, Snickers with needles in them, that would be clearly tier 3. But how would you tell the difference?
It's the crunch. The crunch of a syringe. But
I'm trying to think of a candy with needles that would be good.
But I don't think, like, for example, this may be on the list, because what happened was we gave Jacob some ideas, and he came up with a kind of a list. But then he added some of his own, and it's a list of candies, and there's some on there that this may ruin one of them. But for example, there was also a lady in our neighborhood that gave handfuls of pennies. Those don't belong in a tier because they brought me to tears.
But pennies are money. You could buy things with pennies.
Pennies are not money. Pennies are worthless.
I don't want a copper taste.
I think the
painting
residents of
unwrapped candy.
Illinois would have something very particular to say to that, Kent.
Nobody wants a penny.
No one wants money. Okay, no one wants change on Halloween
All right,
night.
what dollar value is acceptable in place of candy on
Quarters.
Halloween night?
I'll take a quarter.
You'll take a quarter instead of
No.
what?
A quarter's not going to taint the rest of the candy in the bag.
That's fine. Give me a dollar.
Like a copper penny will.
You want a full dollar?
Give me a dollar.
No, don't be crazy.
That's
I want him to make it rain in my pillowcase.
If you could have a pillowcase full of quarters, and you're going to town.
Or you might kill somebody.
Yeah.
Swinging that over your shoulder.
all right. Well, I mean, what about things that are kind of the same as money, like coupons?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Yeah.
No,
We need a tier 4 for this one.
We got a coupon here for a free Halloween Whopper. I mean, wouldn't that kind of be?
It's never
worth it?
that good, though. It's
What
always
kid is going to save a coupon and then be like, hey, Mom, hey, Dad?
No, they give them away at schools, though.
Yeah, but not in a
Those
Halloween
are
bag.
food stamps.
No,
That's
but it's
mean.
never going to be that. It's never going to be like, this is a free Halloween, burger or something like that. It's going to be like, hey, here's a BOGO for Cold Stone.
I would take that.
Here's
luck,
half off
kid.
for an
I
oil
would
change.
Take Cold Stone over any Halloween candy.
But if
That
I
is
would
tier
get one
one.
free, I'd rather get the Cold Stone in my pillowcase. But let's
Yeah,
jump
but
into it.
get all greasy.
So what we're
I
gonna
will
do,
break a window if I get a coupon. I'm talking about this as if I still trick or treat, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to actual chocolate
Yes,
candies,
because
guys.
Dan's going to go ahead and read one from the list. Kent and I are going to discuss what tier we think it belongs in. I also have, since I do dumb research, I have dates of when these candies came out, and I have fun facts.
I'll just cut that out of the show. It's fine.
Thank you kindly, Ken. All right,
If
well,
you
let's
cut
get
that out of the
started.
show, I'll cut you in the show.
Oh,
Let's get started.
Jacob told me I was the host. That means I get to control you guys.
yeah. It's true.
I'm
That's
very
kind of your
excited.
job.
You need to rein us in a bit.
Let's start with something that I think everybody likes: Kit Kats.
Kit
All right.
Kats came out in
Oh, yeah.
1935, and they were named after an 18th century political club.
Oh, give me a break, Joe.
I'm not making that up. That's actually true.
Really?
Yeah, it's true. Apparently, they served some sort of dish at this club, the Kit Kat Club, and it kind of morphed into this.
What
treat.
was their slogan?
I don't. It wasn't "Give me a break," Ken.
Just
It
come
wasn't.
on. I
It
just built
wasn't.
that up.
No.
Give me a break. Give me a break.
Yeah.
Who do we appreciate? I don't know.
Kit Kat.
Ken, why don't you go first on this one?
It's tier 2. The chocolate is fine. It's not really, really plastic chocolate. All American chocolate is kind of plasticky, but it's fine. It melts the second you touch it. so it gets everywhere.
Well, keep in mind, though, that it is Halloween. Halloween comes at the end of October. Usually it's pretty chilly outside. That keeps the
That's true, but I'm
chocolate
just
from
thinking
melting.
about being a grubby kid, eating it later. And there's usually 2 tiny Kit Kat bars. It's a tier 2 because it's good. I'll eat it. I'll trade it. I'm not super attached.
Kit Kats may be my favorite chocolate candy.
Really?
I'm not making this up.
It's basically like those wafers.
I love
those thin wafers.
I love
Yes,
the crunch.
you are
I love that I
defining
can.
with a
Kit
little
Kat
bit of
bar.
chocolate on
I
it.
love the wafers. I love the chocolate. I love the crunch. I love being able to break it off. I love the orange version they have for Halloween or the white chocolate.
Gross.
So good.
Not
And
so good at all.
It melts in your fingers, and then you get to lick it off your fingers. It is.
But your
my
fingers are
favorite.
dirty. I mean, gross.
My kids know that if they get a Kit Kat, like if they get a Disco or something like that, they'll usually save me one of the pieces because it's one of Daddy's favorite candies.
Oh man,
So
I
you
would.
use Kit Kat.
I love Kit Kat, and I'm going to give this a tier 1, hands down.
You would have been one of my best friends because I'd come over and be like, "Dude, I have 70 Kit Kats that I don't want."
and I would take them all. I can eat Kit Kats end after end after end. Like, I love them. So tier 1 for me.
All right, in the same vein as Kit Kats, another kind of thinner chocolate bar,
Okay.
Crunch Bars.
Came out in 1937.
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Yeah. 1937. I really don't. There's not much to say about them because they're kind of a tier 2 bland. It's a crunch bar.
This is part of the Nestle family, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or no, it's not because I think Crackle is part of the Nestle family.
No, Hershey's.
Crackle
Hershey's.
Nestle. It's a Nestle Crunch. Hershey's is Crackle.
Okay, that's it.
But by the way, I mean, they're interchangeable. There's really not a difference between a Crackle bar and a Crunch bar otherwise than the size. I mean,
The Crunch bar wrapping looks better and looks more tasty than the yellow or the red Crackle bar wrapping, which is weird.
Crunch bar came out in 1937. The Crackle bar came out in 1938. And for 20 years, it was almost impossible to find a full-size Crackle bar because it was always in those mini bars.
Oh, I bet so many people were looking.
Oh, yeah. Because, it's a 2.
It's a 2.
I'll eat it, but I'm not going to be excited like, woo, Crunch bar!
Yeah.
Or Crackle bar.
See, Crunch Bar for me is a tier 1 because that's guaranteed tastiness. Like usually a lot of the time when you're rooting around in that pillowcase, you have a lot of not guaranteed tastiness.
Mm-hmm.
But you see a Crunch Bar, you think to yourself, I can eat that and I can enjoy that.
You see a Crunch bar, you think to yourself, you know what I want in my chocolate? Rice.
I want rice that gets stuck in my teeth.
Exactly.
All right. So you guys are saying that you don't like, say, Rice Krispies treats.
Well, they're covered in sugar.
If it was
And marshmallows.
If it was a Rice Krispie treat covered in chocolate, I'd be all over that.
Yes.
I do.
But if no,
Do?
They do.
Okay. I'll see you later, guys. I got to go to the store.
All right. How about a Rice Krispies treat that someone bakes at home and then individually wraps?
okay, let's just set a rule that anything that anyone makes at home is dangerous.
Yes.
There's an instant red flag. It could be the gooeyest, most tasty thing ever.
Unless you know the person.
But what if they wrap it up in like a tissue or a paper towel?
Oh.
I mean, that just throws me off altogether.
Remember Penny Lady? The lady that gives
Yeah,
pennies?
Penny Lady. Oh, I remember her.
Next door to Penny Lady, it was Popcorn Ball Lady.
Yeah, it's not
Homemade
okay.
popcorn balls in saran wrap.
Yeah, anything that's homemade, honestly, probably better for you and better tasting. But nope.
Those popcorn balls ended up thrown at the person in front of you's head while you're trick-or-treating.
All right. Fair enough.
So
Welcome to the show, Dan.
Tier 3. Anything homemade, pretty much.
Hey, I just know that I tend to enjoy
Razor
homemade
blades.
brownies
Razor blades
with
in your
razor
Rice
blades
Krispie
in
treats.
them.
Yeah.
Hey, the copper taste of blood in my mouth gets rid of the penny taste that's covering the rest of the candy.
Oh, penny candies.
Alrighty, let's move on to something that for some reason everyone else in the world loves except for me, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Did you say Reese's or Reese's?
He said Reese's.
I said Reese's. This is because I don't like them and I don't approve of them.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, invented in 1928, named after the inventor H.B. Reese. And those are a tier 1. I will happily take a Reese's Peanut. If you don't like those, give them to me because either the mini size are good, but I prefer the flatter, wider size. They're tasty. They're very tasty. Although, and I will say this, the Butterfinger Peanut Butter Cups that they've recently come out with, even better. Maybe it's just because I'm used to the taste
Why
of Reese's
is the peanut
Cups.
butter so crumbly and not peanut buttery?
It's because it's not actually peanut butter, Kent.
No,
It's good.
It's imitation peanut butter made by an imitation candy company.
I actually like the full-size ones. I'm okay with the flat ones, but the mini ones,
Mini cups.
they give me like this sour taste in my mouth. I've never really enjoyed them.
I learned something. I believe it was for the Hershey bar, but I think it applies everywhere. That apparently the way they process the chocolate for these candy bars They said that it doesn't depend on milk freshness, is the way they put it.
Ugh.
Yeah.
This sounds bad.
I know. And so, like, when you said that sour taste in your mouth, I was like, well, could have been.
Because it is.
I actually took a marketing class in high school, and at the beginning of one of the lessons, the teacher brought out this bag of Reese's peanut butter cups. And she said, who wants a Reese's peanut butter cup? And we're like a bunch of high school kids. We're like, yes, please. And so we ate, like, the entire bag. And then she gave us a lesson talking about how many bug particles and hairs and things like that are allowed.
Tier 3.
In peanut butter cups, specifically peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
And then it got over, and she's like, okay. She pulled out another bag. She's like, now who wants some Reese's peanut butter cups? Almost all of us raised our hand again.
No.
And she's like, what? You guys, this has bug parts in it. We're like, well, we're high school kids and we're hungry and it's candy. So
if we're talking about the mini one specifically, I feel like I'm eating sand that has a sour aftertaste. It's a tier 3.
Okay.
Well, you can't give it a tier 3.
Yeah.
Yes,
would
he
trade-
just did, Joel.
You'd throw away a Reese's?
Yeah, I would give it to you and my Kit Kats for your good stuff.
I don't know what's much better than that in the chocolate
We're
realm.
about to find out.
Let's find out.
Disgusting
Let's
me,
move on
Ken
to
Dunn.
that classic, but also, at least personally for me, disappointing candy bar, Snickers.
Snickers. You're sticking in the chocolatey realm, huh?
I am just for right now. We're gonna scoot away from here right after Snickers, but I want to hear your guys' opinions.
If you had to guess, by the way, where Snickers got its name, what would you guess?
People laughing about immature things.
It came out in 1930.
Okay.
And they named it after Snickers, their favorite horse, the Mars family's favorite horse.
Wait, did they make Snickers out of Snickers?
Oh, I hope not.
We're all hee hee hee, and we're snickering over here.
Oh, he's glue.
That's where that nutty flavor comes from.
So nutty. So smoky.
Snickers is a tier 1. Bite size, full size. It's one of those candies that you can eat and it fills you up. It really does satisfy. Like when I think of candy, like when I'm like, oh, I'm hungry.
Why wait? Right?
Well, have a Snickers.
Yeah.
No, if I'm going to eat candy on an empty stomach, I usually get sick. But Snickers is like substantial. There's substance there. There's peanuts. There's nougat. There's caramel. It's good.
Snickers
Tier 1.
is like a salad with steak in it.
Yes.
I mean, it's an entree with bacon bits and steak, and it becomes a full meal. Snickers could
Now I'm
be a
hungry.
meal.
If they gave me, by the way, if I trick or treated and they gave me a salad with steak on it and bacon bits, I'd be, even if it's homemade,
It wrapped in a paper towel.
I'm down with that.
That's tier 3.
No way.
Snickers is the one ring of Halloween candy. It's almost the one ring of candy. I'm not a big candy bar guy, but Snickers is the best thing out there. Bar none.
Okay.
Candy bar none.
The bar none bar?
I see. I prefer Mars or Milky Way myself because that's basically all the joys of Snickers without being ruined by peanuts.
Are you allergic to peanuts?
No, I just don't like them. I don't approve of them.
No, I love Milky Ways, but the peanuts do add a little something special.
Admittedly, Milky Ways and Mars bars, they don't provide that same kind of substance.
It's substance.
Can I tell you?
It's so strange.
Can I tell you guys a side fact not related to Snickers, but I found interesting? So, Mr. Goodbar, one of those little mini candy bars, it actually, Milton Hershey did not want the name Hershey associated with that bar because it had peanuts in it. And so they actually manufactured it under another company, the Chocolate Sales Corporation, so it wouldn't be associated with Hershey's because they didn't want peanuts.
Anti-peanuts.
Apparently.
I approve of Hershey that much more than I did about 10 seconds
Way to go,
ago.
Milton.
But he was okay with the name Squirt after his name.
What?
Moving on.
Kent!
Alrighty, guys.
hate this
Let's
episode.
go a completely different route and talk about double bubble bubblegum.
Double bubble gum.
You know, those little kind of individually wrapped things
Yeah.
you see
Yes.
that kind of always fall to the bottom of the pillowcase.
Do you want? Did I go first on the last one, or did you go first?
Well, I would like the history if you have it.
Oh, I do. It was invented in 1928, and apparently the creator, the only food coloring that was available at the factory when he made this was pink, so he used that by default. It was the only thing there, and now that's become the staple of bubblegum color, because Double Bubble was the forerunner on that. And I will give Double Bubble a tier 1.
Double? Are you serious?
I will give any gum a tier 1.
What?
Double bubble.
Except for that nasty black licorice gum.
Double bubble is the asphalt of gum. What
Careful
are you
there.
doing putting that in your mouth?
It's amazing. I love Double Bubble, and I love the different flavors. I love bubble gum, and so I will give this a tier 1 any day of the week.
Tier 3. Easily.
Thank you, Ken.
Double Bubble is like an eraser. It's a giant eraser that is really hard and doesn't work anymore. You can't even use it to
They were
erase
trying
anything
to come up
anymore.
with a way of chewing gum that wouldn't stick to the wrapper. and this was like the solution. Was this kind of
the hardest gum ever made?
It's only hard if you leave it that like it's usually
no,
older.
but that's the thing. It was made in 1920, and it is only made in 1920.
You can chew double bubble chewing gum, alrighty, which is odd.
Can you say double bubble chewing gum like 10 times?
Not right now.
You get the trouble with the double bubble.
But you can
pop a lot
chew.
of trouble in the Pop-O-Matic bubble.
Gosh darn it.
Welcome to the podcast, Dan.
I'm trying to rein it in, Jacob. I'm trying. You can chew double bubble chewing gum. You can put it back in its wrapper, make it a square again, hand it to someone else, and 5 minutes later they would not be able to tell the difference between that and a brand new stick of double bubble
Do
chewing
you know
gum.
why? Because there's no taste originally.
Wait, you're telling me then that essentially this is the everlasting gobstopper from Willy Wonka's chocolate factory?
I would actually call it more of a zombie that could keep coming back and everyone...
Give me your double bubbles. Give me your Kit Kats.
I am so ready to trade with you. I love this.
We should form a partnership.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, licorice.
Now, which type of licorice?
Oh, well, okay.
Because I mean,
obvious ones, right, are like Twizzlers and Red Vines.
Twizzlers, but there's Twizzlers, there's Red Vines, there's red, there's black, there's sour straws. We might have to cover a whole base here.
If you were told at the beginning of the evening, alrighty, that, or let's say at the end of the evening, you've come home, someone else has emptied your bag and just turns and says to you, "I have all the licorice that you got." They don't specify. They just say, "I have all the licorice
the most common thing you're going to see is either the 2-pack or the thin 1-pack of the Twizzler.
True. Yeah.
True.
The red Twizzler.
Do you trade them away?
For me, any sort of licorice is a tier 3.
What?
Licorice
you can't just put a blanket statement. What about sour straws?
I like sour straws, okay, but I am never going to choose them above anything else sour.
Are you kidding me?
No, licorice is a straight up laxative. It's worse than the Halloween Whopper.
No.
And it may even change colors.
No.
So,
Stop.
no, licorice is the worst. And honestly, red licorice is okay if it's a red vine. And that is like the top tier of licorice.
I've actually heard, by the way, that West Coast is Red Vine and East Coast is Twizzler.
Then why do we have so many Twizzlers here? Twizzlers are disgusting and they're
Because the East
whack.
Coast is better.
In like what they prefer. Like East Coast prefers Red Vines, West Coast prefers.
Wait, you just switched that around.
No, East Coast prefers Twizzlers, West Coast prefers Red Vines.
Huh.
I
They
heard
probably
that.
have the runs a lot in the East Coast.
Good heavens. Does this have to be a theme on the podcast?
It's going to be now.
All right, how about another stick-shaped
wait.
item? No.
I didn't go.
Oh, fine. We already got your
I need my
impressions.
opinion because sour licorice is tier 1. I don't care what it is. The sour licorice I'm a big fan of. By the way, Twizzlers came out first in 1929 and Red Vines came out in 1952. But tier 1, sour. Tier 2 is...
Chocolate licorice. Gross.
I'd say Red Vines are tier 1 as well. Tier 2 is where you get into Twizzlers because they're usually very, very hard and will cut your mouth. You could actually shiv someone with a stale Twizzler. And then black licorice is like a tier 12. I don't like black licorice at all.
So they average out at 3. That's great to hear. Thanks, Joel. Next.
Moving on. Another stick-shaped candy, pixie sticks.
Pixie sticks. 1942. Actually, this is a fun little fact for you. Derived from a penny drink mix sold as Fruzola Jr. by the Fruzola Company in Salt Lake City, Utah.
There we go.
Thank you, Utah.
All right, Joel, please go first.
Pixie sticks are a 2. They're fun, but I mean, then the paper, like the little paper tubes, start getting kind of mushy and start coming off in your mouth, and the powder can't come out, and then it's mostly just stuck inside there. But the actual powder, it's good. Nice little treat.
You mean the sugar?
Yeah.
You're pouring sugar down your gullet.
The flavored sugar, yes.
And anthrax. Don't forget.
If we're going to talk about what everything on this is sugar.
No, but that's literally no bones about it. Sugar in a straw. That I had a bad accident once when I tried to sniff it.
What?
It didn't go well.
I'm sure it was an accident.
Well, no.
Peer pressure is not from friends, Kent.
It's inside.
Yeah.
It's a tier 2 because it's tasty sugar, but I like it more in the Lickamade pouch.
Why did you get after me when I gave it the same ranking?
You know, it's because...
Joel, you're an idiot. This isn't a tier 2. It's a tier 2.
Because I like to say that you're wrong.
Antagonist.
Next.
All right. Another sugary substance, nerds.
Nerds. Oh, by the way, Kent.
What?
Little fun
Take it
fact for
easy.
you. Created in 1983.
Really?
So, yeah, very recent.
Okay.
This is a quote from the manufacturer of how they make it. Quote, basically, we start off with a sugar crystal, and we just keep coating it with more sugar. End quote.
We're all going to die.
So if you're complaining about pixie sticks,
No, but that's a tube of sugar. These are like boogers that have hard coats on them that are tasty.
you're not very good at marketing, are you?
No.
Nerds? Oh, you go first in this one.
Yeah, nerds are a tier 1 because you usually get the little rectangle box. They're the candy that keeps on giving. You can shoot them all down at once if you're a junkie, or you can do a little bit and be like,
Who eats nerds one at a time? I just want to know if there are people.
No,
out
no,
there.
not one at a time.
No,
I mean, like-
I'm not asking. I'm asking.
Yeah.
I want to know if anyone out there eats nerds one at a time because you got to shot glass it
yeah,
in those little mini boxes.
yeah. Or if you get like 2 packages or the double-sided,
Oh yeah.
you're like, I can taste the flavors.
See, for me, nerds are either the greatest thing in the world or the worst.
Why the worst?
Because the pink and purple ones, and I'm not actually going to call them flavors because they're not actual flavors, but the pink and purple ones are clearly the good nerds. But then you get that mixed like bag of multicolored nerds that's
Oh, I'm
disturbing.
I don't believe in segregation, so I don't know, Dan.
This is a black or white issue.
And yellow and purple.
You gave it a tier 1.
It's a tier 1 because it's a candy
when it's the same thing as pixie sticks. You get that soggy box when you do the little bit at a time. You get that
but
soggy, gross box, and just like there's not even that much. In
and then
there
you
to
can
start
use the
with.
box to whistle.
Fine.
It's a tier 1.
All right.
Soggy Nerds Box
me-
is my new
for
Soggy
me-
Bottom Boys cover band.
Kent's an idiot. Kent's an idiot because for me this is a tier 1. How does it feel, Kent?
Actually, pretty good. Thanks for agreeing with me. Thanks for backing me up.
Yeah, nerds are a tier 1. They're a tasty candy, and they're just like that tart, sour flavor that I really enjoy. And I don't know if you guys ever did it where you put it in the side of your cheek and just kind of suck on it for a while, and it turns to nerd mush in your cheeks.
You got canker sores everywhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's move on to some individually wrapped candies.
Oh.
Talk to me about your thoughts on Hershey's Kisses.
Hershey's Kisses. This is not on my list.
Well, whatever are we going to do?
Well, I'm going to panic.
I think this is more of a Christmas treat, actually.
It is more Christmassy, but I will say that you get that occasional kiss at the bottom of your pillowcase.
Aw.
It's usually half unwrapped because of all the other candy knocking the foil off.
Well, usually you mentioned Christmas. Usually during Halloween they have like those peanut butter ribboned Hershey's Kisses.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
they do. Yeah, they have those. And I like the varieties. I love the different types of varieties, actually. They have a ton of good ones. The hugs are really good. I like the white chocolate and the milk chocolate. I'd be happy with a kiss, but it's...
You like the hugs, but you'd be happy with the kiss.
Shut your face.
Hey, how everything's going lately?
But they're not, they're so common that it's a tier 2. It's right up there with the Hershey bar, where it's just kind of like, it's fine. It's a chunk of chocolate, but I like a little more.
And which makes it a tier 3. The Hershey bars are not good. The chocolate is not good. You have to suck on a Hershey's bar or kiss for about 30 seconds to even get past the original layer of wax there. And it's the last thing I'll eat. And I'll still eat it because it's candy.
Time out. You're mad at the Kit Kat for melting too fast. You're mad at the Hershey's Kiss for not melting
Don't look
fast
for
enough.
loopholes in my candy selection, Joel. You'll find them. Just let me have my opinion.
All right, I kind of want to go. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just so you know. I don't know if we're going to talk about the Hershey bar later.
We can
Well,
talk
no,
about
that
the
was my
Hershey
answer
bar
for
right
Hershey
now.
bar. You might as well
It's
give
the
it.
same argument.
let's do it.
It's
Let's
the
do
same
Hershey
argument
bars.
where if it's plain, it's a 2. If it has something more like a cookies and cream Hershey bar, that's like a 1. That's amazing. I love those cookies and cream Hershey bars with little bits of cookie in it. And if it's a special dark, it should burn in Hades.
How dare you?
Special darks are the worst. Did you like them?
Special. All right, so you know how they have like those bags of Hershey's miniatures?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So whenever I get one of those bags, I always pour them out. All the Mr. Good bars can just go die in a fire. Because really, seriously,
You
who
don't
loves
want to be
Mr. Good
associated with
bars?
them, just like Milton Hershey.
I do not appreciate them whatsoever. All of the regular Hershey's bars are like, okay, well, someone else in my family can have those.
Okay.
And then the crackles are like, hey, you're like a Crunch bar. You're not labeled like a Crunch bar, but you're kind of like a Crunch bar. I approve of you. But the true dessert of that meal that is this bag,
You're already wrong.
is Special Dark.
No, special dark is one you put in your mouth by accident and go, oh, that's not chocolate.
Mom, I accidentally got into the cooking chocolate again.
This is unsweetened cocoa.
You really
Do
like
you
those?
guys just have an issue with dark chocolate?
No, I think it's
not a
you
fan.
may have a refined palate. I've never liked dark chocolate of any sort.
It's because it's the healthiest of all chocolates. That's why I don't like it.
That's awful.
My wife does like. We have a very good relationship in that way that she likes dark chocolate and I don't. So she gets the dark chocolate.
Well, I obviously approve of your wife then, Joel.
Thank you. By the way, Hershey Bars created in 1900, and it's the first mass-produced chocolate in the United States.
Well, there you go.
Let's talk blow pops.
Please, let's do. Well, they were created in 1969, and I don't have any fun facts about it because I wrote much on Wikipedia, the source of all knowledge and truth. But blow pops are a tier 1. It's bubblegum, and anything bubblegum is going to get a tier 1 from me. And I love blow pops because I love being able to just crunch them right away. I love being able to suck them all the way down to the gum and then eating that. It's the sucker that keeps on giving. And any flavor is good. They're all good. So
sour apple is the best, though.
Oh, sour apple's good.
In there, tier 1 for me as well.
High five.
High five. I actually don't care for the gum inside.
What?
It's the outer shell. I like sour apple. It's really, really good.
Wait,
grape is good as well.
You'd be just as satisfied with the Dum-Dum then.
No. There's something different about the Dum-Dum sucker and the blow pop sucker. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the surface
What about
area
the Tootsie Pop
that makes me
sucker?
like it more. We'll get into Tootsie Pops.
Maybe.
We are running out of time. We're running
35 minutes
low.
in.
No, we're not. We got hundreds of candies here.
Let's get at them all. Let's go to the true classic chocolate, in my humble opinion, M&Ms. Small bags, classic M&Ms. Opinions.
M&Ms, created in 1941. It was actually, they were inspired by military rations of chocolate, which were coated in wax so they wouldn't melt and they could stay in their packs and things like that. Mr. Mars decided to then coat them in a candy shell. So, also, they were approached by Spielberg and company to be in the movie E.T. They refused, thus giving way for Reese's Pieces to take the spotlight, and Reese's Pieces sales increased by 300% that year.
Thanks, Joel.
Ouch to M&Ms.
Plain M&Ms, there's a reason they call them plain, because they're no good.
Like, no good?
Yeah, they're no good. You know what's the worst? Are the mini M&Ms. They're the worst.
Oh, they're so cute.
But you know what's great? Peanut butter M&Ms.
Ooh, yeah.
They're great.
They are great. Sorry to everyone with peanut allergies out there.
Yeah. And,
They're okay, peanut allergy people. Don't worry, you're not missing anything.
But
you can't.
Like, if anyone buys a brown bag of plain M&Ms, I'm like, ugh, serial killer. What's going on here?
They're serial killers?
No, like
because they like M&Ms?
Just plain M&Ms? Get a life.
M&Ms are the ultimate customizable candy. You can get them in all different colors. You can go to like a store and get individual colors of M&Ms.
You can get your face printed on an M&M now.
You could get White House M&Ms.
Why would I want White House M&Ms?
I don't really know, but you can get them.
Well, there you go.
I have a lot of jokes right now that I'm not going to tell. But I think they're tier 2. Like
right.
M&Ms overall. Because you can get good ones. I think the pretzel ones, which are pretty rare, are the best.
Oh, those are good.
Yes.
If I were to, I am going to separate them out because regular M&Ms are a 2. They're fine. They're a good snack. Peanut M&Ms, also a 2. They're a little more hearty, but they're still just like so common that it's like, yeah, you get those all the time. No big whoop. Peanut butter M&Ms, tier 1. I would agree
But
with
you
that.
rarely get those for Halloween.
No.
Yeah.
If I did, I'd be happy. That's the problem with Halloween candy this year. If I may go up on a soapbox for a second. I'm up on my soapbox
You're
now.
so high up there, Joel.
Hello, little people. No, with candy these days has become so homogenized.
Yes.
It used to you go to different houses, you get different things. Now you go to a house, it's like, oh, they bought the Tootsie Roll variety
Yeah,
pack
with
from
bottle
Costco.
rockets and
They
bottle
bought-
pops. That's
they
what they're
bought
called.
the Starburst
Yeah.
Skittles pack. Like it's like you know what the bag looked like back in the kitchen because of what you're getting at the door.
Yes.
Whatever happened, to
And it's
candy
always what's on that
individuality?
front row at the Walmart aisle that is cheap, and everyone's just going to buy it last minute, and that's
Exactly. Like I love when I get something unique. When I get like one of those, Halloween candies. Yeah, it's the cheaper chocolate, like the little ones that are shaped like eyeballs, for example. But it's still something different, and I appreciate that, the different aspect. Because I blame it on just the cookie cutter housing that people do these days, and that's just part of the cookie cutter way.
Are you ready to come back down?
Hey, welcome back, Joel.
Hey,
We've
high up
missed you.
there. I had a nosebleed.
Joel, if I were to hand you a bag of candy corn, how would you react?
Is this a pillowcase full of candy corn?
No, it's just a small little bag.
Could you imagine?
Candy corn came out in the 1880s, so it's a very old one, and manufacturers first combined sugar, corn syrup, carnauba wax, and water, and cooked them to form a slurry. Fondant was added for texture, and marshmallows were added to provide a soft bite. This is a slurry candy you're eating, people, and it's trash. I'd take that bag and line my trash with it because it's a tier 3.
Did you know that there is so much candy corn? It's actually the number one most sold. I think it's just because of the amount that's sold in each bag that people buy. There's so much candy corn sold each year that it could go around the earth 4.25 times.
I thought I was the one that had fun facts.
I know. I look some stuff up, too.
Oh, there you go.
But isn't that weird? There's that much candy corn? Because I talk to anyone and they're like, I hate candy corn.
I don't think anybody actually eats candy corn. I think they just use candy corn as decoration.
I'm letting you know right now, we're going to get passionate people that'll be like, you guys are so wrong about candy corn. It's the best. There's people out there that love it.
I eat candy corn.
You eat it. Everyone eats it because it's there. It's in your grandma's little dish on the table.
I'll eat it, and I know it's just like a marshmallow, like it's just going to disappear immediately. But I still eat it, and I don't hate it. It's not a tier 1, but it's a tier 2 for me.
That's disgusting.
I'm sorry, everyone.
I don't know if I'm more disappointed in you about that or the other thing you've talked about in this podcast.
What happens if someone you come up to a house, you say trick or treat, an old woman kind of comes out, drops an apple in that bag of yours.
No.
Be healthy. Be healthy, Joel.
Oh, I'm never going back to that house again. And I'll tell you what, that apple might end up through her window. Not true. I actually feel really bad about that.
But it's kind of like getting an orange in your stocking at Christmas, right?
That's okay.
I mean, like, because,
shape the stocking.
People that were, it does help shape it. But poor people would have appreciated an apple.
And I'm like, apples are great, but this thing is going to be bruised and covered in pennies by the end of the night. I don't want to eat it.
Apples get a bad rap because of, some crazy people in the 80s put razors in them.
Which apparently never happened.
It didn't? Because I still believe it.
Folklore.
No, complete folklore. It's never actually happened.
But if you're getting fresh fruit in any way, shape, or form at Halloween, they're doing Halloween wrong. It's not about fruit, people.
And yet you're okay with fruit snacks.
Yeah, because they're not real fruit either.
And they're wrapped up. An apple is much like a homemade Rice Krispie treat. I don't want anything just kind of out in the air.
And I'm literally talking, by the way, about fruit snacks. We're still doing apples.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I'm literally like they're better than fruit snacks.
Well, it depends on the fruit snack because there are fruit snacks that have 5% juice, and there are ones that are a little more healthier. But
no, give me Gushers all the way. I don't want the juicy one, the actual juice ones.
Yeah, Gushers are the best candy ever. That was directed to someone in particular. Hopefully they're listening, and they're going to yell at me and make me sleep on the couch.
So tiers for apples?
I wonder who it is. Tier 3.
That's like tier 4. It's tier 5.
There's only 3, Joel.
Especially if it's like a red apple, like a red delicious.
Yeah, Granny Smith.
If I get a Granny Smith,
that's the thing. Like,
I will probably take a bite. I won't even put it in my bag. I'll take a bite and then throw it in the bushes somewhere.
It's going to be mealy and disgusting because it's a Halloween apple.
Ugh.
All right, fair enough. You guys have mentioned Christmas candy on several occasions. What about yes, you have. I'm curious, however, how you'd feel about actual Christmas candy canes, that sort of thing.
On Halloween?
Hey, Christmas sales come early.
Okay. That's not okay.
Okay, here we go.
Hold on. Climb back up.
There is no reason to have Christmas lights or Christmas candy before October 31st. Maybe let it bleed into November, fine. But there is no Christmas allowed in my Halloween season, and I will fight that to the death.
If I get a candy cane in my bag, I'll just walk right up to their, the edge of the driveway, and I'll put it right in their mailbox. So they can find it the next day or the next 2 days and be like, why is there a candy cane here? That's exactly what I asked when you put it in my Halloween bag.
I just realized how first world problem we are right now.
I don't want your peppermint candy cane.
I don't want this sugar confection that you've given to me out of your own free will.
It's mixing holidays, and it's not okay.
Not okay.
All right, something that is
That's actually when we get violent. I mean, there are a few things that you might say that we might get a little passionate.
I actually have a friend they put out Christmas displays, as you mentioned early. She will take Halloween stuff and mix it in with the Christmas stuff if they put out Christmas stuff too early at the store. And then she'll take a picture of it and post it online.
All right, so Christmas candy you're saying is like tier 3, right? That's kind of what I'm getting in comparison.
I don't want that.
But what about that same candy? Take the same candy cane, get it during Christmas. Does it immediately go higher, or is it still tier 3?
Well, I mean, the regular old mint ones, no, that'd be like a tier. That's a tier 2.
Eating a candy cane's a lot like eating candy corn. I mean, you eat it, but you're never like, yeah, candy cane.
Unless it's like the cool flavored ones, like the Starburst candy canes or the Spree candy canes or whatever, Sweet Tart candy canes.
Do you ever really seek them out, though? You don't.
We do.
You do?
They go on our tree.
That's cute.
Yeah. Why are we talking about Christmas?
Stop it, Dan.
Junior mints.
Junior mints.
Another kind of mint. They're very refreshing.
Yes, they are. Junior mints created in 1949, named after a Broadway show called Junior Miss, and they have been known to help abscesses heal.
What?
Seinfeld.
Oh, okay, I get it. I was like, please say no. Junior mints for me are a tier 1. They are miniature little York bars, York peppermint patties, and there are many things I would do for Junior mints. I love them. I love putting them together and smushing them and watching the shells just expand. I love Junior mints.
I used to.
What changed?
I always thought highly of Junior Mints, and then I don't know if it was a bad box, but the most recent box I bought from Dollar Tree, I had it at my desk, just kind of, a little snack, whatever, at the end of the meal, and they just had this weird taste to them that I can't explain it other than it tasted almost medicine-y.
Oh, no.
And then I was like, maybe I need to lay off Junior Mints for a while. So right now, for me, they're a tier 2. I'm not...
Oh, that breaks my heart. I don't even want to eat them now because I might have that same experience.
That's what I'm worried about. I don't know if it was the box or if it's just the way they changed the recipe. Because during my candy research, I found that a lot of these companies have changed the recipe for one reason or another, whether for health reasons or for marketing reasons. Or
Probably
whatever.
for the vegans.
There actually is some vegan changing as well. And Necco wafers, for example, they changed their recipe. People freaked out. Like, full on wrote them angry letters, and they had to change the recipe back. Kind of ridiculous.
Recipe with Necco wafers? Let's talk about Necco wafers if we can for a second.
Please. They're on the
Are
list.
those not floor tiles or something? Or just old quarters that are fossilized?
Guys, these date back to the Civil War. I'm not kidding.
You mean like the candy I bought last week? The Necco wafer was from the Civil War.
Yeah, probably. 1847 is when these came out. And
is that the oldest candy we have on the list?
Pretty close.
Okay.
If not I remember it was very close. There may have been one that was before, but that may be it. But, by the way, Necco stands for New England Confectionery Company.
I call them Necro wafers.
Because dead?
Yeah, because I always think that they're dead.
Can you name the flavors of the Necco wafers? The 8 flavors?
Chalk.
Dirt.
Paste.
Licorice.
Oh, yeah, licorice, tier 3. Venom.
It's lemon, lime, orange, clove, cinnamon.
Clove?
Yeah.
Clove?
Fig.
Cinnamon, wintergreen, licorice, and chocolate.
Licorice
Disgusting.
is actually in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's disturbing.
No, look at that. I don't. Licorice. I've said this before. Licorice and sweet pickles were great before candy was invented.
Why'd you put sweet pickles in there?
Because older people love them, and I'm like, I don't get why. And I'm like, oh, it's because they didn't have awesome candy back.
Do they
in the
make
day.
swhen pickles anymore?
I'm sure they do. Yeah, they do. They have them.
Do you
on
like
the
when you go to
Carl's
someone's
Jr.
house and they have pickles and you're like, what kind of pickles are those? And they're like, oh, they're sweet. Well, I'll just be having a hamburger without pickles, I guess.
It's even worse when it's like, oh, pickles, sweet, and then your day is ruined.
All right, so there's some.
If I get a sweet pickle in my pillowcase, I'm gonna be.
Are Necro wafers, are they the worst ones out there? Is that the worst candy we could possibly think of?
They're definitely tier 3.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Okay. I have to admit, I've never actually heard of Necro wafers. They are one of actually...
They're actually Necco wafers.
I'm going to call them Necro wafers. That's an appropriate title based on this description. But there are a number of candies here that I have never heard of before.
Well,
like Good and Plenty.
If someone liked a Necco wafer, I would say that they're a necrophiliac.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
By the way, Good and Plenty, you bring that up.
Yes.
Well, Necco wafers, I believe, I looked, and it looks like that is the oldest invented one. The oldest, Good and Plenty claims to be the oldest branded candy in the United States. So they actually came out in 1893, but they claim to be the oldest branding. Like,
Good and Plenty is a lie. At least 50% lie. They're plenty. They sure are plenty.
They are deceptive. If you ever go to one of those candy machines, those little gumball machines with candy in them, you see that little pink and white candies, and they look good and tasty, and then you open them up and you see them for the black-heartedness they have inside them. Black, horrible licorice, disgusting, tier 3, bottom of the barrel, gross.
One of the worst candies ever invented.
Yes.
Well done. Alrighty, let's turn things around then. Let's go high society, guys. Fifth Avenue. How do you feel about Fifth Avenues?
Fifth Avenues, invented in 1936, despite not being advertised since 1993, the candy bar is still available.
What's in a Fifth Avenue?
It's a fancy Butterfinger.
Is it?
Yes.
Why don't I know this?
It's very tasty. It's like it's a high class Butterfinger is how I put it, and I actually would give this a tier 1. I used to seek out Fifth Avenue bars. They used to be my favorite candy bar. I would give them tier 1. Very tasty.
Oh yeah, they're really good. I'm looking it up. Yeah, tier 1.
You had to look it up?
Yeah.
Oh.
To see what the inside looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they look a little more like peanut butter than the Butterfinger.
Wait, have you actually eaten them, or are you just going based on purely looks? Oh yeah, that looks appropriate.
No. Hey, I can go back. Nostalgia can take me back. I haven't had one in 25 years, but still good.
There you go.
All right, fair enough. Okay, guys. We've heard a lot about different candies, but me and Jacob were actually pretty curious about going
I hate the Jacob twist.
different
This is a Jacob
way.
twist.
This is a Jacob twist.
I have so many fun facts.
No, put away your facts.
Baby Ruth is not named after Babe Ruth. It's named after President Grover Cleveland's daughter, Ruth Cleveland.
Yeah, we'll have a lightning round at the end if we can.
Oh,
just to
absolutely.
cover some of
I'd be
these.
happy to.
Okay.
But I mean, we've been doing this as though we are the kids that are going up to the door, right?
Okay.
But I want to talk about that experience. Okay, so let's say you go up to a door,
Okay.
and the door is closed, and there's that bowl full of candy with a sign
The
that
take
says,
one?
"Please take one."
Yeah.
What do?
I take one. That's what the sign says, and I'm a good Boy Scout. Kent, why don't you go, you heathen?
I like how you just judge me. Just like that.
It's not just like that. It's based on everything else you've said in the
Joel,
show.
I haven't always been like this. I used to be a really nice kid.
What happened, Kenny D?
I don't know.
What happened?
I don't know. I would take 3.
That's what you do, Joel.
I would take 3, but
That's what you do.
No, but the thing is,
But what about the kids behind you, man?
No, the
What about
problem
what
is-
about the little 4-year-old going to walk up there and go, "Mommy,
it's
there's no
inevitable
candy."
that someone is grabbing that bowl and tossing it into their pillowcase. In fact, they're probably a bucket person because pillowcase people wouldn't steal everything.
No,
Only
'cause-
bucket people would.
Yeah.
Those dastardly bucket
Pillowcasers,
people.
they respect Halloween and the traditions.
Every kid starts out with a bucket. You don't get the pillowcase till you're 9 or 10. That's when you graduate to pillowcase level.
Is that what happened with your family?
That's what's going to happen because right now they just have their little buckets, and we don't go around to enough houses to necessitate an entire pillowcase.
Okay, I can see that. But no, I would take 3 because it's just above 1 and I lose a little bit of integrity. But I would not take all of them because those people, they're going to a bad place.
Yeah.
This is true.
But the person right after me or Joel probably would take the rest of the bucket, and then kids would still be sad. So it's kind of the same. It's kind of rewarding criminals
Can I tell you
by
guys
not
something
taking the
real
whole thing.
Can I tell you guys a heartwarming story since Kent's, being mean?
Oh, please.
There was a girl in my neighborhood who she got home from trick-or-treating, had her pillowcase full of candy, and then her mom ran out of candy. They didn't get enough, and they were stressed about what to do.
Oh, no.
She offered her bag to her mom and let her mom give away the candy she had in her bag. And I remember thinking, that is amazing. Because
I'm crying right now.
I know. As a kid, I was
I'm
like...
kind of tearing up.
As a kid, I was like, what a noble sacrifice. She is a saint. And then as an adult, I'm like, why didn't they just run out and get more candy? Stores are open.
Well, if I was the kid, I would have been all, hey, I got a whole bunch of Twizzlers you can give out. Here are my Chico sticks.
That's maybe what she did. It
Yeah.
could be that I had this saintly thing, but instead she's like, all right, take these. Here, I don't want these generic candies.
And her mom's like, you are beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. What about those houses where you ring the doorbell? The old lady opens it up and says, "Oh yes, hang on, come inside. Let me go get the candy."
No, we've had lessons about that. You should never go inside. I've seen too many movies.
Well,
It's a sweet old lady, Kent. It's a sweet old lady.
but there are people who do these like mini haunts in their house, and I think that's awesome that they have the kids go through a little haunted house to get their candy. Just make sure the parents come in with them, and I would.
So what's on the other end? I mean, does the lady ever come back, or does she just go take a nap?
You can't
come on
You
inside.
can't know that before you act. Before
she
you
takes a
choose,
nap,
you
you
have to choose.
If she's taking a nap, that's a sign. You get to pick one thing in the house to put in your bag.
So like an old VHS tape of like Sweating to the Oldies.
Yes, because that's
Yeah.
what grandmas have, is sweating to the oldies.
Well, they're old.
Alrighty. Are there any unwrapped candies that you would be willing to eat?
If it's unwrapped, that's sketchy. I really can't.
Like a
think of-
caramel apple, a delicious, fresh caramel apple. Would you do that?
It's a homemade thing.
Okay, so your answer is
you mean
no.
caramel apple sucker? Yes. Caramel apple homemade? I'd have to know the person.
Caramel apple homemade is only for suckers, right, Joel?
Yeah.
That even hides the razor blades even more with the outer
Good,
shell.
good joke, Candy Dan.
Thank you very much.
The Candy Dan can.
Let's now turn the tables a little bit more. Now you're inside. You are inside the house.
He didn't go in.
No. You're giving out candy.
Oh,
Let's be
okay,
clear.
okay,
You're giving
okay,
out
okay.
candy.
I'm not in the old woman's house,
so
You're not-
trapped
you're
in a box.
No, you are the old woman's house.
Okay.
Sonny?
That's not a woman.
What? All right, so you have your candy. How do you change your candy distribution based on the clothing, the costumes of the children that come up to you?
I will reward for good costumes. I have rewarded for good costumes. Also, if I know them, if I recognize them from the neighborhood or whatever, if they're friends of my kids, I'll give them extra. And I am one that will usually hand it out instead of letting them just grab. It just depends. Well, it depends what I'm needing to do at the moment. But I will give extra for good costumes. And those punk kids that come up at the end of the night and they're like just wearing T-shirt and jeans, are like, trick or treat, give me candy. I'm like, fine, you get one Good and Plenty. No, I'm just kidding. I would never buy Good and Plenty.
I will give a Tootsie Roll to any kid wearing a Marvel costume.
Oh,
Captain America, Iron Man.
okay.
You guys get a Tootsie Roll.
Wait. Tootsie Roll or flavored Tootsie Roll?
Tootsie Roll.
So the chocolate ones, but what about the strawberry
Chocolate?
ones?
That's interesting.
They were created to simulate chocolate.
To simulate
There's chocolate in there.
It's fair. We never got to Tootsie Rolls. Quickly, what are your tiers for Tootsie Rolls?
By the way, I have some fun facts about Tootsie Rolls after you give the date.
1896. Very popular in World War One.
Tootsie Rolls were actually once advertised as health foods.
Really?
And the slogan was, "Eat Tootsie Rolls, the luscious candy that helps beat fatigue."
It's still true.
Tootsie Rolls.
Yeah, they had a jingle.
The simulated...
No. It's true. They had a jingle for it, too. It just said, "Let me see your Tootsie Roll." To the left, to the left, to the right, to the right.
Keeps you
Now
up
slide.
all night.
Now slide.
That's ridiculous.
I can't believe you fell for that.
I'm like, they have a jingle?
Yes. Came out in
Dip, baby, dip.
2001. It's ridiculous.
Tootsie Rolls are one of the worst. It's tier 3. It's simulated taste more like.
A good Tootsie Rolls, especially like the ones that look like the little stubby cigars or the long, skinny cigarette ones.
No matter how you stretch it out, it's still a Tootsie Roll.
They're tier 2. They're common. But the flavored ones, like the strawberry ones or the vanilla ones, I love mixing those together too. Those are tier 1.
Overseas, they have like strange flavors of Tootsie Rolls, and it can get pretty compelling. You know, like because you have like some wasabi Tootsie Rolls.
Wow.
But no, I didn't say compelling was good. I said, you know, it's the sort of thing you kind of have to taste because it's disturbing, but at the same time, you kind of have to see what that's like in your mouth.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm still in the old woman's house, right?
Yes, still in the old one's house.
Good heavens.
Alrighty, let's do lightning round.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Quickly, $100,000.
Tier 1.
Tier 1 and radio DJs have been sued for fake giveaways using that.
Oh, no.
Radio DJs say, we're going to give out $100,000, and then they give out a candy bar, and people have sued them for that. There's at least 2 that are listed that I saw.
You know, it's
That's deserving.
basically a Crunch Bar wrapped around caramel, which is kind of hard caramel, but still very good.
It's very tasty.
Yeah.
Tier 1 and invented in 1966.
All right, Laffy Taffy.
Tier 1.
Laffy Taffies are tier 1.
You get jokes and you get candy that's stuck to the side of the wrapping.
Yeah, although I will say I'm mad at them for changing the name of Tangy Taffy to Laffy Taffy because it just gets confusing. It's now called like the Tangy and Tart Laffy Taffy, and they're the bigger ones, but they're the better ones.
You hate change.
Sugar Babies.
I hate changing my pillowcase. Sugar Babies?
Unless they're quarters.
Sugar Babies are going to rip your fillings out.
Yes, they will.
But they're tasty. They're tier 2.
Tier 2.
Named at 1935, named after a song called "Let Me Be Your Sugar Baby." And believe it or not, in addition to the Sugar Daddy, there's also a Sugar Mama,
Is it really?
which was a chocolate-coated version of the Sugar Daddy.
I will be your sugar baby.
That's not the song.
Isn't it?
No, I will be your father figure.
Yeah.
Tier 2.
Tier 2.
Milk Duds.
Milk Duds are named Milk Duds milk because they're made with a lot of milk. Duds because they can't get them perfectly round.
Milk Duds are the perfected sugar babies, and they are tier 1.
They're tier 2 for me. 1926. They're okay. I like how I put the date in there as a reason for a good tier 2.
They're old.
That's not a good year for candy.
All right, this is the candy that my mother would always get at the movie theater and I always associated it with old people for whatever reason.
Dots,
Raisinets.
right? Oh, Raisinets.
Oh, God. Tier 3.
Tier 3 easily.
Gross. No.
Anything
Ew.
raisin-oriented
Ew.
is
Ew.
wrong.
I have
Box of raisins?
I
Did you ever
have
get the lady give you a
willingly
box of
bought
raisins?
Raisinets.
No.
Yes.
Were you at gunpoint?
No. Sometimes you just want a raisin and chocolate.
No. That is not a good combination.
No.
No. That's horrible.
Craisins, Raisinets,
Come on,
anything
that
dried
is
up.
clearly tier 2.
No, I don't I like raisins. I will eat raisins. I have to remind myself I like them. It's like, oh yeah, I like those.
Wait, did I eat a fly? Ignorance is bliss.
It's terrible.
Raisinets are bad.
They're disgusting.
There actually may be flies in there, and the FDA's like, one every package. That's fine.
Pretty much.
Hey, you were okay with the fly-ridden Reese's cups?
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, but
But it wasn't an
they weren't
entire fly
Raisinets.
covered in chocolate.
Yeah, they weren't Raisinets.
Okay, fair enough.
Raisinets are worse than bug parts.
Skittles.
Skittles are a tier 2, believe it or not.
Skittles are tier 1, just
No.
because there are many in the package.
No, they're not that good.
They're not great, but they're tier 1 because they keep on giving.
I like Skittles until I played the Skittle game, and then I got sick on them, and ever since it's just haven't been the same for me.
Yeah, I think they're
By the many in the package logic, like candy corn should be tier 1.
They don't come in a package. They come loose with the pennies.
Oh,
in the same handful.
Yes.
No, but like Skittles, you can actually snack on and not hate your life, and so they're good.
alrighty, fair enough.
Meh.
Smarties.
Smarties. Can you?
Smarties we could have a whole show about Smarties. Honestly,
1949, and they actually have flavors. Believe it or not, they have flavors. Are
Which
you ready?
Yes.
Bring it on.
White is orange. White is orange cream. Yellow is pineapple. Pink is cherry. Green is strawberry. Purple
What?
is grape, and orange is orange.
So the machine broke, and they're like, "Oh, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it."
And I love,
Sir, but it is broke.
I love taking Skittles and like making like little hamburger. Remember that with like the purple patty as the hamburger patty, and then the buns are the yellow ones.
Never did that, Joel.
What?
Nope.
You didn't make food out of it, and the red was the ketchup, and yellow was the cheese. And,
Nope.
oh.
And that brings us to the fruit, like little fruit and food gummies. So like the little gummy hamburgers,
fun.
Gummy drink cups,
Not on my
gummy
list,
fries.
but I'm going to say tier 1 because it's novelty.
Yeah, same.
It's something different.
If you get a gummy hamburger, great.
By the way, do you know why they used to call Three Musketeers Three Musketeers, or why it's called Three Musketeers?
I do, because it was a Neapolitan flavors.
It used to be 3 pieces in one package: chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. I had no idea. Tier 2.
You guys obviously would really like to do Three Musketeers, so come on, let's do Three Musketeers.
It's a tier 2. It's a bland inside, but it's tasty.
Ken?
Tier 2. It's just weird nougat. The weird nougat.
It's a weird nugget.
Starburst. Speaking of individually wrapped candies, we weren't. But
All right, this is going to be very particular because you usually get the packs with 2 Starburst in there, and you open it up.
Cookie.
So you open it up and you get 2 yellow. I mean, that's instant tier 3, right?
That is.
You open it up and it's a cherry and a pink, and that's a tier 1.
Yes.
So it can range from tier 1 to tier 3.
I've said that those little 2-packs are the fortune cookies of candy.
They are.
Where you open it up and it tells you what your day's going to be like, and it's like, oh, it's a 2 yellow day? Oh.
Or even orange and yellow, still tier 3. But if it's an orange and a red, tier 2.
Yeah.
Anything with a pink, tier 1.
I would completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Well done.
High five.
All right, how about Twix?
Twix. Those are tasty. I'm going to give that a tier 1.
And so the Twix, the fun size, it's not 2. It's just the one little one.
Just the
the
little
one
one?
little pinky.
That's true, but still
is what
good.
you're getting.
Oh, yeah, because it's the cookie and the caramel and the chocolate.
When you eat a Twix, I tend to bite off the little the cookie part.
You want
and
the
then eat the
cross-section?
Yeah. That's what I do.
Wait, no.
So I eat the bottom off. Yeah, I eat the bottom off, and then I eat the chocolate and caramel on top.
I think that's actually one of Dr. Matt's tests for psychopaths. I'm pretty sure.
Killing small animals and
eating
a Twix the wrong way.
The wrong way. Because you just got to bite into it and get the cross section.
No, yeah, I separate it.
You, get cookie,
You are
crunch,
literally
caramel.
breaking the mix.
No,
the
no.
whole point of the Twix is the mix of the different flavors and textures.
For me, it's all kosher. I have to eat a kosher Twix, and so I've got to separate what needs to be
You don't eat
separated.
kosher. I saw what you
It's a
ate for
kosher
lunch.
Twix. But yeah, no, Twix is tier 1.
By the way, since we're talking about kosher, Dots, you guys know Dots? They are actually gluten-free, nut-free, peanut-free, and kosher. Like, actually kosher.
Oh, so kind of like the trend this year, you were telling me, was to have a blue pumpkin on your doorstep.
If you have a teal pumpkin on
That's it.
your doorstep, that means that you're allergy-friendly or you have allergy-friendly candy. It's a thing that's coming around, apparently.
How do people know what these colors mean? Like, if I saw a blue pumpkin, I'd assume that someone poisoned the pumpkin.
It's if you it's if you're in the know. Like if you see a blue pumpkin on the porch, a teal pumpkin on the porch. That
the
means
problem
you're
with that, if you're allergic to peanuts, and then you go up there and they're like, "Oh, sorry, we just have gluten-free candy."
Yeah, it's not exactly scientific.
So you're saying Dots covers all bases?
Yeah, if you're handing out Dots, you're golden, except for kids that have loose teeth, because those are coming out if you eat a Dot.
All of them. Imagine a pillowcase full of Dots.
Oh man! And Dots it's always like you open that little tiny box. There's like 4 in there,
And
they're all stuck together.
2 are stuck in the box.
2 are yellow, and then you get like 1 red one, and then it's like, okay, well, these aren't that great.
Tier 1.
What?
Yeah, Dots get a tier 1.
Dots are tier 1.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I love Dots.
Are you an 80-year-old woman?
Yes, I am. Dots and hard candy all the way.
Oh, that's a tier 3.
Really?
I would do Raisinets way before I do Dots.
Yes. It's the way you were. It's the way you were raised.
It's a higher tier 3 because I when I get a red or a purple, I'm happy. But usually, it's just a disappointing experience.
It's usually yellow.
All right, how about, as they're known overseas, Maltesers, or as they're known here, Whoppers?
Though Whoppers are a tier 3. 1947, they were created. Strawberry milkshake's good. I like that version, but I'm not a malt.
Is it because you need a drink of water after every Whopper you eat?
They dry out your mouth and they ruin your tongue. It's like this salty, mealy, grainy thing going on.
It's like Cap'n Crunch on the go. Like they're going to rip your mouth up.
I prefer Captain Crunch, but I don't know. Just that malt flavor is so powerful.
The only safe way to eat a Whopper is to just suck on it for a long time until like all your saliva softens it enough to make it safe to eat.
I will eat them though. Like if it's like if it's like a last resort and I want candy and there's a Whopper, I'm like, well, I'll have one or two, but I'm not a fan.
Yeah, Whoppers are tier 3.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm pretty happy with that list. So you guys,
I'm not.
Well, fine.
I want more. If we could, can we just kind of bring up a couple that we wanted to talk about?
Since we just cut out the part where we talked about how we would talk about this part, then yes.
Almond Joy and Mounds. Let's do both of those, Kent.
I hate coconut. I think coconut is the worst. I think of coconut much the same way you think of pineapple.
Really?
And it is a tier 3.
So,
those are actually the first things I look for when I pour my candy on the ground. I look for the blue wrapping or the red. I think Mounds is red.
Yes.
And I look to just get those out of my bag so I don't taint anything else as fast as possible.
I'm so coming over to your house.
No, you and I would trade very, very well.
We would, because
I would take all your Snickers and you would take all my crap.
I like Snickers.
No, I'm sorry, but I will give you...
I like Snickers.
Oh, Milky Way, maybe.
I love Milky Way.
Dang it.
But apparently I like things more than Kent. Surprise!
Please.
But
you're just easily pleased.
Mounds are probably tier 2, but Almond Joys are tier 1. I love that almond crunch, and I love the coconut. It is a little, coconut's a little harder to chew and stuff like that, but the flavor is so good. Tier 1, tier 2.
Ugh.
Kent?
All right. Ken, did you have anything you wanted to do?
Pencils?
No. Awful.
But you do get pencils.
You do, and I think that's
and they usually have a little flag on the end that says, like, spooky greetings, stuff like that.
I do want to know what you guys do, what you guys would want to do to the families that drop toothbrushes into your bags.
If they're dentists, that's perfectly fine. Because
How do you know?
My dentist did that in the neighborhood. And he'd give us toothbrushes, and I was like, whatever, dude, moving on. But
yeah, I was usually like, I got a new one last Christmas. I don't need a new toothbrush.
I use the toothbrush to help get the dots out of my teeth.
Yeah, you need one.
Can't get it off. Sixlets, Kent?
Sixlets are awful.
They are awful.
What the heck are sixlets?
They're like round M&Ms with like wax inside that's colored to look like chocolate. They're terrible.
Oh, okay. So
they have like an orangey taste.
You guys were talking about Smarties before. Mm-hmm. When I first moved to the States, I did not understand why people liked Smarties.
Because they have those chocolate ones.
Exactly. Overseas, Smarties are like fake M&Ms.
Yes.
They come in this little tube, and they are absolutely disappointing. Because they're like fruity chocolate. Oh, it's absolutely awful.
Yeah, they're not good.
You come over here, people are like, hey, you want some Smarties? Frick no. Why in the world would you want Smarties?
I know.
And then they pull out this strange, like, wrapped stack of things. I was very confused.
Right.
Butterfinger.
We covered Butterfinger.
Did we?
No, we talked about it with the Fifth Avenue, but we didn't really give it. But I would give it a tier 1 as well.
Butterfinger is the gold mine, basically.
Really?
It's very good. Snickers is still my favorite, number
tier
1.
0?
It is the original.
Weird.
No, it's tier 1, but then if you take the chocolate away and it becomes a Chico stick, it's an easy tier 3.
Oh, the Chico stick.
But think about that. A Butterfinger is a Chico stick with chocolate.
The black and orange peanut butter taffies.
Oh, no.
Those are terrible. You just reminded me of that with a Chico stick.
Baby Ruth, tier 3.
Baby Ruth is tier 2, I think I put it as. Yeah, tier 2.
It's the Three Musketeers with peanuts.
And apparently, like, they named it at the height of Babe Ruth's fame, but then they said it was after President Grover's daughter, or President Cleveland's daughter, so they could avoid lawsuits. But
yes, you mentioned that earlier in the episode.
I was yelling about that before. I don't think the audience heard.
Audience, did you hear? I hope you heard.
If you're going to make me happy at the door, you're going to give me Sweet Tarts or Fun Dip or Now and Laters or Warheads or Atomic Fireballs. Like, those are all tier 1 for me.
Atomic Fireballs?
I love Atomic Fireball.
Now and Laters?
Those are like a test of bravery at elementary school.
I did Warheads instead.
Warheads, those were 2. And remember they had the hot Warheads, the pepper ones? Those were gross.
Yeah, they were gross.
I didn't like those.
Wax lips were awesome.
By the way, so
not to eat,
lips.
but just to wear.
It's terrible. No, but like this is a little fact. So Sweet Tarts, the candy was created using the same basic principle as the already popular Pixie Sticks and Lickamade products. They're essentially the same exact thing.
But they're formed, so they're deceptive sugar.
Apparently.
Much like all of this.
Yeah, this is all deceptive sugar. Pop Rocks are also really good. I like those. Oh, Charleston Chew.
Charleston
Oh,
Chew is
Charleston
the last one.
Chew.
Charleston Chew.
Last one on this list.
You know they didn't get different flavors until the 70s? Because strawberry is the best. You give me a Charleston Chew and it's a strawberry, I'm a happy, happy man. And have you ever done the thing where you put it in the freezer and then eat them frozen?
No.
They're very good frozen.
Really?
Yeah, it gives a very nice crunch to it. But those are tier 1 for me.
They're tier 2.
Is there any dessert, any candy or chocolate that isn't better frozen? Let's be honest here.
I don't know. I haven't tried a wide variety of them.
Freezing makes anything better when it comes to candy. And
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know if I maybe have to try it because I do like the ice cream versions of Twix and Snickers and stuff like that. Those are very tasty. But
I feel like a frozen Hershey's bar would just be awful.
yeah, it just seems
Like,
like, it'd be
kind of like
harder
Slate.
to chew. I have, however, roasted Starbursts over a fire. That is very tasty.
And fried Mars bars or Milky Way are awesome.
Oh, and deep fried.
Okay, now we're getting into something else. We're just
okay, that's
hungry.
that's not a
that
candy.
will never be there. All right. Oreos. Recently, I've seen them actually come in much smaller packages. So these are not just free-floating Oreos. Come on now. But, like, Oreos that come in like
Here's some
two-pack.
Oreos and pennies and candy corns.
I mean, is that something that kind of doesn't really... To me, that doesn't really feel like
No,
Halloween.
There are Oreos in my mom's cupboard when I was young.
Yeah.
And I could just go to the cupboard.
And they have those
no
fun,
big deal.
They have those fun packs.
Yeah, but I would be kind of disappointed. It's a tier 2.
I would agree. It's probably a tier 2 because it doesn't really feel like candy to me. It's cookie, and I don't know if cookie has a place here.
I mean, you wouldn't want to just look down and see a big package of Fig Newtons.
Well, if they were strawberry Newtons, I would. I love those. I do have Bitto Honey. Oh god, that's tier
3.
That's the graininess in that is just awful.
Tootsie Roll Pop?
That's
We
where I
talked
wanted to
about
end.
Tootsie Rolls.
No, we did. You said we'd talk about it later. Tootsie Pops.
Tootsie Pops.
Yeah, Tootsie Pop.
And I think this is a great place to end because this is one of the most common given Tootsie or candies given at Halloween. By the way, the star thing, not real, never been real. If you have a star,
You know what's funny? Is that everyone was like, yeah, get a free sucker because I found a star. No one ever actually tried, unless you guys did, to get the free sucker. Do you know about this legend, this myth?
No.
So Tootsie Roll Pops.
This must be an American thing.
Tootsie Roll Pops, the legend was if you got a star, because there's all these drawings on the wrapper, a boy playing, pulling a boat or something like that, and like a girl skipping rope, I don't know. But
Yeah, very old-fashioned.
There was an Indian, a Native American, with a headdress, and then he was holding a bow and arrow, and at the end, the arrow was pointing to a star. And the rumor was if you got a wrapper with the star on it, you could take it into the store and get a free sucker.
Into
Not
which
true.
store?
That was
No, that was
that's the
it.
whole point of folklore.
Dude, I could take it. Oh, I could take this to the store.
No,
and if
my
you didn't
friend-
get one, you're like, oh, man,
Yeah, this store didn't do it, but my friend's brother's sister's cousin totally got a free one.
a free Tootsie Pop,
Free 5-cent Tootsie Pop.
which are not good.
Created in 1931. In 2002, 60,000 Tootsie Pops, or Tootsie Rolls, and 20 million, well, that can't be right, 6 million Tootsie Rolls and 20 million Tootsie Pops were produced every day.
What? Why?
Because
Kids.
people like them. And I would give Tootsie Pops a tier 2. Although I had a pomegranate one recently, that would get a tier 1. And if it's orange, that's a tier 3. But generally speaking, it's a tier 2.
Okay.
That's like going on an adventure for like the end goal of finding like old clothes from the 70s. Because you basically are licking this okay sucker, okay hard candy that's orange, and you're going, oh, I'm trying to get a Tootsie Roll in the middle. Like it's like a Blow Pops, like second cousin that lives in a
It's not as
trailer.
good as a blow pop, but I mean, it only takes 3 licks to get in there, so you're good.
That's been proven. Actually, 534 is the
Really?
actual number.
That's a real fact?
Yeah, that was a real fact. I looked it up.
Way to be.
Yeah. No, it's a tier 3.
Tier
Fair
2.
enough.
It's a really bad adventure.
It's a common candy. It's a popular
And
candy.
it lied to us.
What do you mean it lied to us?
We all thought we'd get a free one. That's
Wait, they never said that. That was never part of the marketing.
what everyone told me.
You're hanging out with the wrong people. Anyway, so there we go. Candy, everybody.
Thank you guys so much for your time, and thank you for having me on here. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Normally, Dan, is there anywhere people can find you online?
Really, the best place to find me is probably going to be on Twitter. You can find me at Dan Tennant, all one word. My musings and general haberdashery.
And he is quite entertaining. You can find me at Quick Wits on the weekends. They perform every Saturday night, 10 o'clock in Midvale. You can go to the website and get information there at qwcomedy.com. You can also find me on Twitter at 786Joel.
You can read my movie reviews, including the new one for Goosebumps at ShowtimeShowdown.com. You can find me at Twitter and Instagram at Kenny3DD. And if you get a chance, go to iTunes, rate us, with 5 stars, hopefully, and tell us what we've been doing right.
And let us know, we post this on Facebook. We'll talk about it on Twitter. Let us know what your favorite candies are. And if you disagree with us, which you probably do disagree with Kent, about a lot of these ratings on these candies. Because we want to hear your opinion, because we know that you are out there yelling at your radio or phone or whatever device you're listening to right now.
All right, so till next time.
This has been
Baconsale.
Come, little children, it's Baconsale. I ran out of breath.
What happened to Jacob? I don't want to blame it on the Halloween Whopper, but it may be because of the Halloween Whopper.
Dungeons & Dragons is a fantastic game so long as you are kind of okay with generally quasi-racist accents. So you went on a mystical scavenger hunt.
We did.
For a Halloween Whopper that's black that turns your poo green inexplicably.
This is essentially a Dungeons & Dragons game.
Better.
And then I look out the window, and what did I see?
Popcorn? Popcorn?
Pillowcases are the most hopeful of Halloween bags.
Those don't belong in a tier because they brought me to tears.
That's where that nutty flavor comes from.
You could actually shiv someone with a stale Twizzler. Joel, you're an idiot. This isn't a tier 2, it's a tier 2.
These are like boogers that have hard coats on them that are tasty.
I'd be happy with a kiss, but it's...
You like the hugs, but you'd be happy with a kiss.
Shut your face.
Hey.
No, special dark is one you put in your mouth by accident and go, oh, that's not chocolate.
This is a test. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. My name is Dan Tennant, and I have tidy whities on. That's a lie.
Like if anyone buys a brown bag of plain M&Ms, I'm like, ugh, serial killer, what's going on here?
This is a slurry candy you're eating, people, and it's trash.
I call them necro wafers.
Because dead?
Yeah, because I always think that they're dead.
Licorice, I've said this before, licorice and sweet pickles were great before candy was invented.
Plenty?
If someone liked a necco wafer, I would say that they're a necrophiliac.
This is a Jacob twist.
I have so many fun facts.
No, put away your facts.
Kent, why don't you go, you heathen? What a noble sacrifice! She is a saint! Good joke, Candy Dan. No.
Anything raisin-oriented is wrong.
Raisinuts are worse than bug parts. Salty, mealy, grainy thing going on.
It's like Cap'n Crunch on the go.
Frick no. Why in the world would you want Smarties? It's disturbing, but at the same time, you kind of have to see what that's like in your mouth.